Hi, this is Isabel Florence, and you are listening to YouRLight podcast, a safe space where we talk about mental health and well-being. Hello, my lovely human being. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. I had a break last week, and I'm going to explain to you why and where the idea of it came from. Today, we're going to talk about transformation at work, how we as human beings have that reality of being changeable and transforming, and how can we deal with that appearing in our work life? As you know, I moved country a little more than a year ago, and my life went from looking like something to looking like the opposite. And I'm very happy with how things have transpired. But there's been a lot of change, and a lot of change in my work life. And I want to talk to you about it, see what we can learn from it. I find it quite sad that we as a society have placed this pressure for us as human beings to choose a career and pursue that for the rest of our lives. If you do any type of self-reflection, you will understand that the nature of the universe is to be transforming constantly, and that as human beings, we have parts of ourselves that are dying and parts of ourselves that are coming into light, things that we are learning about ourselves and about the world around us. Our opinions are constantly changing. If we are accepting of the way that this world works and the way that we as human beings can grow. So it's difficult to accept this reality that we should choose a way to spend our day-to-day lives and stick to it for the rest of our lives. And at the same time, there is such discomfort with the change. It requires so much energy for us to actually accept the transformational nature of ourselves and our work. And I think the society that we live in doesn't really invite that change, doesn't accept it. It makes more sense in the way that things are structured for us to choose one topic and really dive deep into it and spend our lives becoming a true expert on it. And sometimes I wish that my character was the type of character that loves to just focus on one thing. But my interest is actually in looking at the overall picture, taking some inventory of everything that I see, combining it together to understand human beings and concepts holistically. It does mean that sometimes I find myself forgetting what I like and what is it that I want from life. I'm also someone who very naturally mirrors others and builds a character according to what people need from me. And I wonder if any of you are the same. If for some of you it's easier to do things because you know others want that from you, to leave the decisions of how you should live your life to others, because in a way it feels like it's less responsibility. If it goes wrong, it wasn't you who decided to live that life. There's a lot of pressure when it comes to making the decisions ourselves. And I think that's why a lot of us seek a guru, a teacher, someone to follow, even a religion, so that we can forget a little bit how much responsibility is in our shoulders over the result of our actions and our decisions. We're also completely multifaceted. We have so many parts within us. So for me, it gets very confusing. I was speaking to my therapist and we were talking about the changes that I've gone through in my work life in the last year, and how my well-being company, YouRLight, was created at a different point in my life where I had different qualities in a way. I lived a very different life. How do I transform my company as I myself transform? I think what I need to do is be in silence and listen a little bit. Maybe when you feel lost as to what it is that you actually want from life, you should consume less, you should watch less, you should listen less, and you should truly trust that the wisdom is within you and that you have the answer, and that to reach that answer, you need to sit in silence. And then there's another part of me that actually thinks, do I need to keep creating these things when sometimes I lack the energy of creation? The seasons that we have in the year reflect nature, and nature reflects us. So we should accept the fact that sometimes we will feel very productive, very creative, and sometimes within us we will have the energy of winter, where we slow down, where maybe we read more rather than writing so much. So I want you to consider the fact that maybe sometimes it's okay to not be in the pursuit of changing the world. We have to be kind to ourselves. We have to respect our seasons. It's also, I think, important to lessen the weight on these decisions, on how we experience our free time and how we create our work. It doesn't have to encompass everything that you are. Right now, part of the work that I do is simply to have a financial base for myself and the future of my family, and that's okay. I also have passions and hobbies in my life, and I feel this pressure of turning all of these things into a movement, turning it into a productive catalyst of change in the world, when actually I don't have to, and you don't have to. Sometimes I just want to bake a cake, and when I bake that cake, I don't have to create a recipe that will go into a book or into a website that will transform someone's day. Doesn't have to. Maybe I just want to bake a fucking cake. I wonder if part of the desires that I have right now as well are connected to the time of life that I am in as a woman, looking to support my partner, nourish my partner, take care of our home, connect to our friends and my family. I guess I'm coming here with more questions than answers, but that's because I want you to question yourself when it comes to these same aspects of life. When you feel like you are not producing enough, when you feel like your work life has run away from you in a way, when you feel like some of the things that you spend time doing are not being catalysts of change for the world, when you feel like you don't actually fully know what you want right now, I want you to consider the fact that maybe you are in a winter season within, that maybe parts of yourself are dying and you are grieving them, that maybe you are changing so much that you don't recognize yourself, and that's a good thing because change is growth, that maybe your priorities have changed, that maybe you are in a period between the end of something and the beginning of something else, and that you need to breathe in this space in between, that possibly you have to be kinder to yourself and not so demanding, that these feelings are part of being a human being, and that they are a reflection of the fact that you are very self-aware, that you are hard on yourself, that you can sometimes expect so much from yourself comparing to what you expect from the people around you, the people that you love. I think a good exercise that we can do together, if you're feeling similar to me, is to sit down in silence one day, close our eyes, take some deep breaths, and write down how we're feeling. What are the questions that we have for our true self, for our higher self, for the universe? And we can allow these answers to come in slowly with time. We can practice patience. The pace we live in right now is very quick. Everyone wants instant results, but some things take time. I am over here wanting the answers for the questions that arose today. But I need to understand that such deep transformation requires time to be digested, be processed, and be reflected in my being, in my day-to-day life, in my work, in my choices. And that's okay. So this is basically a letter to myself. The things that I keep forgetting, that I have to keep reminding myself. And I hope you can gift yourself that time as well, that respect, that space for the change to occur. The caterpillar in its cocoon goes through its metamorphosis, and if a human being, for example, goes in and tries to help it, opens the cocoon before the change has happened, before the caterpillar's old body has died, the transformation doesn't happen. That caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly. In that same way, we have to allow ourselves to transmute, to kill parts of ourselves, let it go, to allow ourselves to stay in this space of non-production, of non-creation, because the creation that we're going through is the creation of the new self. That's enough. So if you are transforming, allow yourself to take the time. Don't be so hard on yourself, and don't expect the environment, your work, your day-to-day life, your relationships to instantly change and instantly reflect the new being that you are becoming. I'm going to try to do this. I hope you do too. I love you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening. All the links are written down on the show notes, as well as resources for anyone struggling with their mental health. Don't forget to subscribe so you're notified when we release new episodes. Also, feel free to share our podcast with your friends and family. And if you'd like to get involved, explore our content, or support our work, visit our website www.yourlight.earth. That's yourlight.earth. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at you.r.light. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.